So first of all, Rome, it's a pleasure and honor for you to join us. We have been speaking about this past year every single day and every single Shabbat and holiday. And I had an opportunity to watch your testimony, which I urge everybody also to just YouTube your name, beautiful interviews. And to begin, maybe you can tell us, I know you got to the festival at 2 a.m., but at what moment did you realize that this was something that was very different and you were about to make life and death decisions?
It's really close to that. Like that? Yeah, okay. Okay, first of all, I want to say Chag Sameach, Shana Tova. I'm very happy to be here with you and to open this year. For your question, first of all, I want to say that I'm going to a music festival like 10 years. It's not something new to me. That's my favorite hobby. I just like to go traveling around the world and go to music festivals. I mean, festivals in Europe, South America, and of course, many of them in Israel. And when I get inside to the festival, it was 2 a.m. and in the beginning it felt great. Like a regular festival, there was like 4,000 people there, and everybody was happy and celebrate. The music was loud. There was a lot of colors. So it felt great. It felt like the best place in the planet. But in 6:30 a.m., I remember I just looked at the sky and I saw a missile exploding, and it was very, very close to us. And then in the beginning, we thought, okay, just another missiles attack. It's happened all the time, unfortunately. We know what to do in those situations. So they just, this police officer, they decided to close the festival, and they told everyone, take your stuff and go home. So at that moment, it was like a very big confusion because like I saw some people that was cry, some of them get a panic attack, some of them start running, some of them stay in the dance floor because they thought it was like a joke. But me and my friends will understand the situation, and we decided like, let's take our stuff and put it in the car and then let's see what's happened. So we got back to the car, it was something like 7 a.m. and there were still missiles in the sky, and still my friends asked me like, what, we're gonna go home now? I told them no, we have all our camping stuff, it's just 7 a.m. So let's find a nice lake and that's gonna be there for the rest of the day. In 7 a.m. and after they closed the festival, we were still so naive, we didn't understand what's happened. And when we started to move on with our cars, so of course we're stuck in the traffic because there was like 4,000 people get out at the same time. And while we were standing, I saw a red car coming very fast from the right side, and it just crushed in the two cars that was in front of us, and then it stuck in the side. So my first thought that was like, maybe the driver was drunk, maybe he had a panic attack, maybe something happened. But then one guy came to that car and he opened the driver door, and I saw a very young woman, and she just falling to the floor, and all her body was full of blood. And then people there start screaming, she was shot, please, someone help, she was shot. And that's the first time that I understand, like, okay, this is not like a missile attack, something is actually happens, it's different.
So I want to fast forward to today because your testimony is truly important and it is online for people to see. But we're in Rosh Hashanah. We just said this prayer, Mi yichyeh u'mi yamut, who should live and who shall die, and we say that every year, but now when we look back and realize that even people who were with you, some are still alive and some are not. And so what is this Rosh Hashanah outside of Israel with us? What does this mean to you today?
First of all, I can say that it's my first time that I'm doing Rosh Hashanah outside of Israel, very far away from my family. And
you're part of our family now.
Yeah, I feel it. And it's not easy, but I feel very blessed to be here with you today. I know why I'm here and why we're doing that, and I believe it's not an easy job. But I took like from that war, I took like very good things. Like, as we said before, after the war, it was my first time that I came to America, and I met Jewish communities outside of Israel, and I understand that how much we have a deep connection together, and after the war, it's got even deeper. And so that's, I think, one of the benefits that came out from that war. So that's why I'm here, and to share with everybody my story, and to bring more awareness, and to help my community, and to help the people in Israel to have another survivors that they can able to be here like me and speak. So I think it's a blessing, and I hope to continue with that activity for the rest of the year.
You were explaining to me that you've been with your group for about 3 weeks, sharing your story at the Nova exhibition, and Rome is leaving tomorrow, Saturday night for Miami, and then doing kind of an East Coast tour, speaking tour on his own. And what we're curious to hear from you is, when speaking to those who have attended the exhibit, to the Nova Festival exhibit here in Culver City, and you've also been visiting college campuses and speaking with students, we're hoping you can share a little bit about that experience, your interactions with the people that you've met here in the States. And additionally, what we're truly inspired to learn from you, as you've shared with us, is that somehow you have learned how to lead with love and not hate. And I think every person here would understand if you said to us that hate exists within your heart, but instead you've told us that that's where love resides. So if you'd first explain a little bit about the experiences with the people that you've met, and then explain to us, how have you transitioned from hate to love?
So my experience from the exhibit, it was amazing. We've been there like every day, and if you didn't been there, so please do it. It's very important to us, and that everybody will come and show support, and come and hear us, come ask questions. That's why we're here. That's our main goal, and you're all welcome. And I met so many people from so many types. I met Jews and not Jews. People came with a lot of questions. People want to just listen. And it was a pleasure to share our stories every time. And we know that we're doing a good thing, and it's very helpful for our community. There was a lot of people that have like a family in Israel, and they want to learn and to know what's happened exactly, what's there. And there was a lot of Christians that really just want to learn about it and want to realize what happened, and they really show support. And also people that go to music festivals. A lot was there, and they said, like, we try to imagine like we are in a music festival here in America, and it can be here also. So we feel like it was here, and it was very important to me to be here in support, because we know how that dance will feel. So we had a lot of experience. We share a lot. We cry, we smile, and it was an amazing experience. And I recommend to everybody who hasn't been there, just do it fast.
And what about the college campus? Because I know you visited some campuses. What has been a question or two that you have gotten that surprised you? You said perhaps you didn't even realize the anti-Semitism that was happening here. You said obviously there are challenges in Israel, but the challenge that we have here you didn't expect. What were some of those things that you've seen on a college campus?
Yeah, it was very nice and good to know a lot of students that really want to know what's happened there, and they really also want to publish in their campuses like what's happened, to show support. Mostly I was speaking in front of Jewish students, so there was not a lot of interrupt. But it was a good experience. Actually, those college campuses have the best questions. And we had a great time, and for me, like, I think about those guys. They're our future, and they need to understand and to remember how much that big day was and how much brutal it was, because when I see the news here, I see a lot of disinformation. So it was important for me to come and share with them the story and give them the opportunity to ask questions. And what was the other thing?
From hate to love.
Yeah. So in the beginning, there is the big story of October 7, but there is another story since October 8, the day after, like how we feel in the country, what's happened there. They still didn't find some of my friends. So I had a lot of struggles. I had like a big depression. And I was very, very confused. But lucky for me, I had that amazing community that opens for us special places. And they bring us a therapist and psychologists and famous singers. And mostly the important thing that they bring us all together to a safe place. And it was a chance to switch experience with those guys. And it felt amazing. And there I felt like I'm getting back to my feet. Like it was like really life-saving for me. And from so much hate and anger, I thought like, okay, what can I do that bring light, that bring good? So I heard about those delegations who bring survivors like me, and to be here in America. And really, I never spoke in front of audience.
You're doing great.
Thanks. Especially not in English. And everything was so new to me. I'd never been in America before. And I saw that and I thought to myself, like, what I have to lose. And I just signed up, and like in December I was being here, and like day after I land in America, so I found myself speaking in front of more than 100 people. So everything was new to me, and every place I go, I feel like it's a big family. I feel great in everywhere I go. I get a lot of love and respect, and everybody want to hear me and give me a hug. And it's a pleasure for me to share, because I know how much there is so curious about that day. And I learned also about the students' struggles. In Israel, after October 7th, so everybody been together. And we tried to do something for the other, and we stop our job, we stop our life, and we all just want to support our soldiers and just be together. But here in America, I met so many Jewish students that after what's happened in October 7, they need to go back to regular life like nothing happened. And like their friends, suddenly they become like anti-Semitism. And they really want to help, but they feel so far away and they feel so useless. Like they have struggles and difficulty that we didn't have. So everything was new to me, and I would try just to help.
So that we say that Rosh Hashanah is the birth of the world, but we also say it's the rebirth of hope. And that there are different pieces of the holiday and different pieces of our liturgy which plant those seeds of hope so that we can really turn to the next day, as you've explained. And in our final question to you, we're wondering if you could give a message of hope, one that you've learned and one you want to share with our congregation this year.
So to be here with you today, as I said, that unity is the thing that makes us strong. Since the Bible, and every time the Jewish people had a tough time, so we stay together, and we always win. So I'm optimistic.
I love ending on that note of optimism, and I think it speaks perfectly to a piece of Midrash that I just wanted to share with everyone this morning. There's a piece of Midrash from Breshit Rabbah that asks the question, how did our greatest leaders survive? Because when you think of Noah, and when you think of Moshe, and when you think of Yosef, and even when you think of Mordechai in the story of Purim, these are regular people who are faced with major, major dilemmas in their life. Noah, the last standing family in this world, the entire world is flooded, and he's asked to build an ark. How did Noah survive? When you look at Moshe, a regular person who was asked to suddenly lead the Jewish people out of Egypt and start on a journey to the promised land. And when you look at Yosef, to come from a pit to suddenly rise up to be one of the great ministers of Egypt, and Mordechai really leading the people, as we know the story of Purim, one from what could have been a genocide of our people to a victory of survival. So how did they survive? And the Midrash gives the answer. Each one was able to Ele Ra'a Olam Chadash. Each one of those leaders were able to see a brand new world. That even in their turmoil, they were able to see a tomorrow. And that is what you have given us this morning. That even in the horror and pain that you have faced, you have been able to stand up and walk towards an Olam Chadash, a new world. And so we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we hope that as we conclude this sermonette this morning, in a moment we're going to rise for Hatikva, that you'll each take what Rome said to heart, that we must be a unified Jewish people as we walk through one of the darkest times in Jewish history, that we can shift from a time of fear to a time of love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please rise for the words of hope for our people. Hatikva.
Kol od balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homiha ulfatem Mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים.
L'Shana Haba'ah, Yerushalayim. May we be all together with Rome in his home and his Netanya. Hopefully there's room for all of us and Yerushalayim one day. Thank you.
After this, we're going to return. And that's why I want to wish this for that year. Everything will come after will be just a bonus. That's
Amen.
the main goal.
Amen. Rom El-Hai, thank you so much. We're going to remain standing on page 100.